Welcome to Jason's Jewels. I am your host, Jason Alexander, and today we are going to have our NFL State of the Union address, which I hope to do at least once or twice more before the season ends. But this is the first one that we have on deck. And what we're going to do is we're just going to talk about the NFL and what's been going on so far throughout the season. Now, first thing that is on my mind when it comes to the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are sitting at 1-5 right now. Lamar Jackson got hurt when they were playing Kansas City. Some people said he quit. I know he didn't quit. Obviously, he didn't quit. The man got hurt. He's missed the last two games. He should return after the bye week, and their bye week is this week in bye week number 7. So we should get the return of Lamar Jackson back. The one thing I noticed about the Baltimore Ravens, now I know it was a little rainy, a little misty, little they didn't have great weather when they played the Rams last week, but they held the Rams to 17 points. They didn't get the win, but they held them to 17 points. And that is by far the best performance that this Baltimore Ravens defense has displayed all season long. So, with that being said, the Baltimore Ravens, are they starting to improve? Are they starting to get better? Is the defense actually getting better? Because when the defense was healthy, they still wasn't no good. The defense was still ass. And I don't know if the defense is still ass now, but we will find out soon enough. Either way it goes, Lamar Jackson returns soon. Now, when Lamar Jackson returns, can he save John Harbaugh? Because that is the question that everybody wants an answer to anyway. And it's a question that I don't have an answer to. It's a question that I would answer. If I'm the Ravens, I'm sorry, folks. I'm getting rid of John Harbaugh, and I'm doing everything I can to get Mike McDonald to leave Seattle and come back to Baltimore. Because what he's doing in Seattle is nothing that we should gloss over. It's nothing that we should look over. It's something that we should all take notice of. Because one thing's for sure is that Seattle is playing good football. And they're playing better football than the Baltimore Ravens right now. And their roster is not as talented as the Baltimore Ravens roster. So when I say the Baltimore Ravens are underachieving, they are absolutely underachieving. Where that blame needs to go, I have no idea. But again, if I'm the Baltimore Ravens, I'm going after Mike McDonald. That's the coach that I want. That's the coach that I would be trying to get. That's and that's just where I would start at. Now, can the Ravens turn their season around and make the playoffs? I actually think this is something that they can do. And I'm going to tell you why. Number one, I don't believe in the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's because the Pittsburgh Steelers haven't given us anything to believe in since Ben Roethlisberger left. Now, that being said, they do have Aaron Rodgers now, and Aaron Rodgers is playing some good football. And I can't front on that. I mean, I'm not going to front on that. As much as I don't like the man, when he is on top of his game, there are not many quarterbacks who have played the game better than Aaron Rodgers when he is on top of his game. At the same time, Aaron Rodgers is 40-something years old now, people. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know how long he's going to be able to hold up. I don't know how long this is going to be able to hold up. And let's take a look. Let's take a look and see here what's been going on with the Ravens and what's possibly going to go on with Pittsburgh. Take a quick second here. Week 7. So the Steelers, starting off with them. The Steelers are 4-1 right now. If I'm not mistaken, yes, they've already had their bye week. So the Steelers are in it for the long haul at this point. And they've played the Jets. They lost to the Seahawks. They beat the Patriots, which is actually a pretty good win, and that was in New England. Beat the Vikings, beat the Browns. They got the Bengals up next. They got a run where they will play the Packers and the Colts in back-to-back weeks. That could tell us something. And they got the Bills November 30th. They play the Ravens twice in December. Got the Lions in December. You know, I'm not going to sit and act like the Pittsburgh Steelers have a tough schedule. They have a challenging schedule, but it's not a tough schedule. So if they can stay healthy, relatively healthy, there's no reason why they shouldn't make the playoffs. But they have to stay healthy. And that starts with their quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, because if he goes down, season's over. That's just the way it is. But to get back to the Ravens. So the Ravens schedule starting off the year, they faced the Bills, first game of the week. They beat the Browns, faced the Lions, lost to them, faced the Chiefs, lost to them. That was when Lamar Jackson got hurt. They ended up losing to the Texans, and then they lost to the Rams. And now here they are on a bye. On October 26th, they will face the Bears. Then after that, it's the Dolphins, Vikings, Browns again, Jets, Bengals, Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Packers, Steelers. So the Ravens do not have a hard schedule to finish the year. Let me be clear on that. If they can keep Lamar Jackson healthy, they have a good chance to make the playoffs. And if their defense can trend in the right direction like they did after this last game against the Rams, because again, the Rams they got a nice offense, really nice offense. And I know Puka Nacua got hurt and left the game. It don't matter. The Ravens still put up a good fight against the Rams, and hey, it was just something good to see. So we'll see what the Ravens got going on here when they get out of the bye. I do think if they fail to make the playoffs, or if they make the playoffs and they go out early in the playoffs, you really got to start looking at your head coach, people. You got to start looking at John Harbaugh. You got to start figuring out what you want to do with that man going forward. Because a lot of people will tell you the Ravens will not win a Super Bowl with John Harbaugh as the head coach. And the way they depend on Lamar Jackson to win games for them, it's not sustainable. You're going to get that man hurt. And at the end of the day, once he's hurt, season's over. We'll see what the Ravens have. We'll see what the Ravens can do. Again, I think their schedule is very manageable for them to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to run off a big 11-0 run or nothing like that and finish season 11-5. But 10-7 can get you in. Maybe 11-5. But man, I just don't see 11-5 or 11-6. My bad. Maybe 11-6. But even that's probably a stretch and a tall task to ask. But either way it goes, their margin for error is very, very small, and we will see what the Ravens have in store for us going forward. Now, another organization that's seemingly going through some things and also in the same division as the Baltimore Ravens is the Cleveland Browns. And first and foremost, I can't believe they drafted Shedeur Sanders when they already drafted Dillon Gabriel and signed Joe Flacco, and they still have Deshaun Watson on the back burner. And when they drafted Shedeur, they still had Kenny Pickett. Now, they've gotten rid of Kenny Pickett. They've gotten rid of Joe Flacco. Deshaun Watson ain't coming back. Dillon Gabriel is your starting quarterback. Now, I hope they keep Dillon Gabriel at starting quarterback all year long. I do not want to see them put Shedeur in at this point because their season is just about over. Once they make the call that this, and they might have already made that call for all intents and purposes. They might have already made this call. But either way it goes, you got to let Dillon Gabriel play it out and see how he does. You can't just put that man in for a couple of games and then pull him out and say, all right, we're going with Shedeur. You only do that if you're trying to still actively make the playoffs. And again, I'm not sure if they made that call or not, but I think they all know they ain't going to the playoffs, man. It's not going to happen. So with that being said, I don't want to see Shedeur Sanders out there on the field at all this year. I don't think it's a good decision. I don't think it's the right call. If they put Shedeur out there this year, they're setting that man up to fail. Because at the end of the day, if the team is giving up on the season, putting dudes out there just to see what they can do, it's not going to help anybody. It's not going to help the team, and it's not going to help the player. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with Shedeur going forward. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Dillon Gabriel going forward, because Dillon Gabriel ain't looked all that hot so far. But again, you got to let that man grow. Y'all chose that man in the third round. Y'all got to play it out, and we need to see that through. And so while we're having our State of the Union address on the NFL, that's definitely something I wanted to speak on, something I wanted to get off my chest. No Shedeur Sanders this year. And if you're going to trade him, trade him. If you're going to keep him, I get it. But if you're going to keep him, do right by that man and do right by Dillon Gabriel at the same time. Don't mess up either one of them. You understand what I'm saying? If Dillon Gabriel's got an opportunity to be good, we'll see it. And if he does do good, let that man earn the starting spot and keep it warm till Deshaun Watson comes back next year anyway. And then from there, we'll go and see what happens. Now, anybody who watched my earlier episodes of Jason's Jewels knows that I spoke highly of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And right now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 5-1. They just defeated the San Francisco 49ers this past weekend. And The fact that they're able to do this while their wide receivers are dropping like flies is nothing short of amazing. Now, can they win with their top tier receivers is the question. And is Baker Mayfield a front runner for the MVP right now? I think the answer to one of those questions is absolutely yes. Baker Mayfield is a front runner for the MVP. Now, can he sustain this without his wide receivers? We will find out. Mike Evans has still got injury. I'm pretty sure it's his hamstring. Chris Godwin, he came, got hurt again. He's back out. Don't really know what's going on there. And Emeka Egbuka, he got hurt this past weekend. He's got a hamstring also. So Baker is missing his top three receivers. So, and that's on top of that, Bucky Irvin, the starting running back, is hurt as well. So if Tampa can sustain this type of success without their key players, I think that speaks volumes to just how good they can be later on in the season. And nobody's going to want to see this team in the playoffs if they can come back fully healthy, because one thing that they're showing right now is they got the grit and determination to pull out victories against anybody they play at any time. I believe their only loss so far is to Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look that up real quick. I do believe their one loss was to the Seattle Seahawks. Here, there we go. There we go. Sorry about that. No, they beat the Seahawks. That's my bad. The Buccaneers' only loss this year is from the Eagles. Go figure. And we'll talk about them here in a little bit too. The Eagles defeated the Buccaneers 31-25 for the Buccaneers' only loss. Buccaneers next up, man, I thought the Ravens had a tough schedule. The Buccaneers' next game is against the Detroit Lions in Detroit. And honestly, I'm not sure how that game is going to turn out without their receivers, but it's Monday Night Football, doubleheader coming on at 7 o'clock next Monday. We're going to find out. Either way it goes, remember what I told you. If the Buccaneers can stay healthy, they will be a problem, and they just might make my Jason's Jewel Super Bowl prediction of Tampa Bay making it to the Super Bowl anyway become true. But we will see what happens. We'll see what happens with Baker Mayfield going forward. You know, hey, we're a third of the way through the season, and the Buccaneers are looking pretty damn good right now. That's about all I can say about that. Now, the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles. How are y'all feeling about them? First up, the Eagles. Now, I don't think it's time to panic for the Eagles. They've lost their last two games. I don't think it's time to panic. I do need to see their offense be consistent and more better than what it has been. Their passing offense has been trash. Jalen Hurts has shown that he's one of the more inaccurate quarterbacks when it comes to delivering down the field, long field bombs. And that's something he's going to have to improve on. And it's wild to see him not be able to succeed at that aspect of quarterbacking when he has Devontae Smith and, of course, A.J. Brown. When you have both of those guys on your team, you would expect that he would be more in tune with his accuracy on long-distance bombs. But, again, he has not been that accurate this year, and a part of that problem has been part of the problem of the Philadelphia Eagles offense. Now, it is early, and they can still turn it around. We've seen the Eagles do things like this in the past and still be able to do what they need to do once they get to the playoffs. Now, I'm not in a position where I think they're not going to make the playoffs at this point. And again, I'm not panicking, thinking that they're struggling right now, but they do need to get it together, and they need to get it together quickly, because while it is a long season, it doesn't mean that they have momentum right now. Now, once you lose that momentum, the first thing you need to do is gain that momentum back. Now, their next game will be Sunday versus the Vikings, and that should be a pretty good game. It'll be interesting to see if they can bounce back and win this game. I think they're good enough to win this game based on what they've done the last couple of weeks. There's some things they need to work out, some things they need to tweak. Their last game was on a Thursday, so they got some extra time to get right for this game coming up next Sunday. And we'll see what happens with them then. But again, remember what I'm saying, Eagles and Eagles fans, don't panic just yet. Now is not the time to panic. If they make it to 4-4, then you might want to start to panic. For now, they're 4-2. They could end up 5-2 next week. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Either way it goes, stay calm, relax, and let's see how this plays out. Now, the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions is another team that I feel pretty strongly about winning in the NFC. Now, I know there's some folks that like to call them trash and whatnot, and I'm not going to call the Lions trash. I think the Lions are a really good team. I think their offense is probably one of the better offenses in the league. And despite the fact that they lost Ben Johnson, the Lions are still showing that they have the firepower to put it on any team at any time whenever they need to. Now, they did lose to the Kansas City Chiefs this past weekend. And one thing that we know is Coach Spagnuolo is going to have a defense that is strong. And we'll get to the Chiefs here in a little bit as well. But I was kind of surprised to see the Lions lose that game based on the way those two teams have been playing entering that game. The Chiefs were coming off a loss to the Jaguars, and the Lions were coming off a win against, might have been the Ravens maybe. And I thought that the Lions were a better team than the Chiefs, and I thought they would just show that on the field. Unfortunately, they didn't. But at the end of the day, they're 4-2. They have losses to the Packers and they've lost to the Chiefs. Those aren't two bad losses. So it's not a situation where the Lions absolutely need to panic or anything like that right now. I still think the Lions are one of the stronger teams in the NFC. And I think as time goes on, they will continue to show that they are one of the stronger teams in the NFC. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So to the Lions fans out there, I think y'all are good. I think you're good to go. I wouldn't worry about a thing. Not just yet, anyway. But they look good. They look real good, and I can't front on that. So, hey, we'll see what the Lions are. See if the Lions can make it to the Super Bowl. Right now, it's looking like we might see the Lions and the Bucs in the NFC Championship, and we might get a preview of the NFC Championship on Monday Night Football. Even though the Buccaneers, like I mentioned, are going to be shorthanded, still might be a good game because, like I said, Baker's been playing some damn good football right now. So I'm looking forward to that game on Monday night between the Buccaneers and the Lions, two of the better teams in the NFC, despite the fact that the Lions took one on the chin against the Kansas City Chiefs last Sunday. Now, are the Kansas City Chiefs back? That's the question. So, to anybody who's been following Jason's Jewels and listening to what I've had to say, I've been kind of harsh on the Kansas City Chiefs. And while they lost to the Jaguars and the Eagles and the Chargers, this win against the Lions impressed me more than any win that they've had this season. And it's actually probably one of the more impressive wins they've had in the last year or so. Even though they went to the Super Bowl last year, this win on Sunday was impressive. And I'll tell you why. The Lions were coming in hot. They were probably the hottest team in football at the moment outside of the Buccaneers. So if this was not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination, and the Kansas City Chiefs, at the end of the day, made it look easy when they put it on the Detroit Lions. Now, why do I say are the Kansas City Chiefs back? Because one thing that we have seen with the Kansas City Chiefs offense in the last year or so is that they haven't had a big play threat. They got Xavier Worthy, but he can't stay healthy. And if he can't stay on the field, then his ability to be a threat is hindered. So Patrick Mahomes has been dialed in to Travis Kelce for the last 2 years. And Travis Kelce, for those who ain't been watching, is getting older by the week. Now, he's having great games. Well, I say great games. He's having good games. He's been having good games this year. He's been playing better than I expected. But most importantly, Rashee Rice comes back to the Kansas City Chiefs this week. And when he comes back, the element that Patrick Mahomes needs to make this offense just explode on a whole nother level will take place. So, with that being said, this is where I am coming out to tell everyone once again, I was wrong. The Kansas City Chiefs are back. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to be a threat. That defense is still strong, super, super strong. Patrick Mahomes looked like old Patrick Mahomes on Sunday. When he's got guys to throw down the field on, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. Period. No questions asked, hands down. And if he's getting back Rashee Rice, if Xavier Worthy's going to be healthy, if Travis Kelce's still going to be able to play good, and you still got Isaiah Pacheco, you got Kareem Hunt, and you got the hidden gem in Brashard Smith, I'm telling you, people, keep an eye on the Kansas City Chiefs because I think they're going to do it again. And I don't know how I feel about that. But anyway, the Jacksonville Jaguars, I want to touch on them a little bit. The Jacksonville Jaguars are in the AFC South, and the Colts and the Jaguars are both in the AFC South. Both of them are having good years. Both are sitting, if I'm not mistaken, at 4-2 in the NFL. Oops, shoot, sorry, that's my bad. No, the Colts are 5-1, and Jacksonville is 4-2. Either way it goes, the AFC South is looking to be pretty competitive, and I'm not going to sleep on the Jacksonville Jaguars because they're showing that they have the moxie to win, and they're going to protect their home field because their defeat against the Chiefs was a very big and important win for the Jacksonville Jaguars and their psyche. Now, another team I want to talk about is the Indianapolis Colts. And now, the Indianapolis Colts scared me a little bit on Sunday. I had them in my Survivor League, and they almost let Arizona beat them, which would have been bad. Jacoby Brissett, y'all really going to be out here losing to Jacoby Brissett at home? Seriously? I mean, serious. Come on. Y'all are better than that. Y'all have been better than that. So I don't know what happened on Sunday, but the Colts pulled out the victory. Jacksonville Jaguars 4-2. These two teams will not meet until later on in the year. So both these teams have time to rack up some wins and get better and make this matchup that we want to see between these two teams be the matchup for the division. And honestly, as good as they're playing and as wide open as the AFC has been this year, I think that anything can and will happen. And I'm just looking forward to it. I'm glad to see the Jaguars doing good, and I'm glad to see the Colts doing good. So if these two teams can continue to do good and continue to show that they are worthy of being mentioned amongst the best teams in football, and well, that's just great for the NFL and that's great for football. So with that being said, hey, shout out to both of them teams for making us believe when we didn't. Because I definitely didn't believe in the Colts when the season started, and I definitely didn't believe in the Jacksonville Jaguars when the season started. But I do believe now. I am a believer. I'm interested to see what both of y'all are going to do as we head down the stretch. Now, before we go, one last thing I want to do is I'm going to do a quick recall. I've already touched on some of the teams, so I'm going to do a quick recall on some other teams, and I'm going to talk about what I feel about these teams and where they're at this point in the season. And if a team didn't get mentioned, sorry, just means that team is probably not going to the playoffs, probably not doing good, or they just ain't got nothing going for them. At the same time, I do want to shout out Carolina Panthers and Rico Dowdle. Hey, I see you, Rico. I see you. I don't know if you're going to take Chuba's job because they paid Chuba a lot of money to be the running back, but I don't think they're going to rush Chuba back as long as you out there doing your thing. So shout out to Rico Dowdle and the Carolina Panthers. You deserve to be mentioned on Jason's Jewels this week on the NFL State of the Union address as you've been kicking ass these last 2 weeks. And hey, salute. But anyway, we're going to do a quick recall on some teams. Dallas Cowboys, horrible defense. Horrible defense. You got rid of Micah Parsons, and he plays on the Green Bay Packers. And it's funny because when they got rid of Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones said, I want to improve the rush defense. And well, guess who has the number one run defense in the league? That would be the Green Bay Packers with Micah Parsons. So the Dallas Cowboys are going Cowboy. Cowboys going to beat Cowboys. Now, I hope folks are paying attention to what Dak Prescott is doing. Dak Prescott is having an insane year so far. Shout out to Dak Prescott. Hopefully your defense can tighten some things up and get it fixed to where you guys have a chance to do something going forward. I don't know if you're going to make the playoffs. I don't think you can win the Super Bowl or anything like that. But Dak Prescott is having a hell of a year, and all the Dak slander needs to stop ASAP. The man is a good quarterback, period. Quit fronting on Dak Prescott, period. Now, the Buffalo Bills. Is it time to panic? What is going on in Buffalo? You lost to New England. You lost to Atlanta. Your run defense is horrible. It's in the bottom 5 to 7 rush defenses in the league. I'm telling you, if folks can run on y'all like that, you ain't going nowhere. I don't care if you got Josh Allen, Joe Montana, Tom Brady. It don't matter. If you can't stop the run, you won't win in the playoffs, period. So, Buffalo, you need to fix that. You need to tighten it up. If you don't tighten it up, it's going to be a short season for your MVP, Josh Allen. And I'm telling you right now, if you don't tighten up that rush defense, he's not going to win MVP this year. I'm telling you that right now. But it's early. You got time to fix it. I know you're banged up on defense a little bit. Get them boys healthy. Fix your run defense. Because if you don't, that's going to be a problem. Now, I already spoke on the Ravens. New York Giants. I'm not sure how good the Giants are because Jackson Dart is a rookie. And that's something we should never take for granted. Jackson Dart is a rookie. He's going to have ups and downs. He's going to have games like he had last week where they went out and won and defeat. Dang, who they beat? That was the Eagles. Yeah, they beat the Eagles. So there's going to be games where he plays with his hair on fire and they just go out and win, which is what happened when they played the Eagles last week. There's going to be games where they come out and lose like they did the week before when they lost to the Saints, one of the worst teams in the league. I'm not going to read too much into the success that he has, but I'm not going to shit on the success that he has, if that makes any sense. I like what Jackson Dart is doing. I like how he looks. Scatterbo is looking good as well. Hey, shout out to the Giants. I think you might have some future pieces. Tell Jackson Dart he needs to start sliding because he is not Cam Scatterboo. So if you don't start sliding, you're going to end up like Cam Scatterboo out the league in about 5 years. So start sliding, Jackson Dart. You are a franchise quarterback now. Act like it. Slide, get out of bounds, protect yourself, protect your team. Shout out to the Giants, though. Y'all are looking good. Already touched on the Eagles, the Atlanta Falcons. You lost to the Panthers 30-0, but you turned it around. You beat the Bills last night. Big game, impressive game. I was glad to see it. As a fantasy football owner of Bijan Robinson, I was really happy to see it, but that's neither here nor there. Good game, by all means, by the Atlanta Falcons. I'd like to see y'all continue this trend going forward. Don't know if you got it in you. Michael Penix, I like him. Think he's still got some work to do. But y'all got some pieces, and hopefully y'all can get things right and make the right moves going forward. Wouldn't mind seeing you guys in the playoffs at the end of the year later on. Green Bay Packers. Yes, Green Bay Packers. Probably one of the better teams in the NFC. Them boys are looking good, looking consistent. They got all the right pieces as well. Got a stud running back, volume stud running back, good coaching, good quarterback, above average quarterback, spreads the ball around, top notch defense. You got all the pieces there in Green Bay. We're just going to see if you can execute down the stretch. We'll see what you got. Hey, it's going to be a fight to the finish in the NFC. I think Green Bay will be there, along with the Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels is healthy. Them boys looked good last night. They lost to Chicago, took it on the chin, but I think the Commanders are, they're a lot like Green Bay. They got all the pieces. They can win. Jaden Daniels is a hell of a quarterback. Can't be losing to teams like Chicago, but, it's going to be what it's going to be. So we'll see what the Commanders got going forward, even though they took one on the chin last night. Hell, taking it on the chin, I probably should have took them off. But anyway, I spoke on the Steelers. New England Patriots. The New England Patriots are a team that has a question mark on them because Drake May is defying the sophomore slump, and it's good to see. Drake May's playing some damn good football right now. The New England Patriots are, if I'm not mistaken, they might be tied with Buffalo for the division lead. But let's see here. Yeah, sure enough. They are tied with Buffalo for the division lead. And, well, be honest, that could be anybody's game, man. That could be anybody's division. With the way that New England is looking, with the tiebreaker right now over Buffalo, and with the way Buffalo's looked the last couple of weeks, and with their porous run defense, hey, this could be wide open. So shout out to the New England Patriots and their fans. I know folks who root for the Patriots are happy to see this. I know Drake May was getting a lot of preseason hype, and now that he seems to be delivering on that hype, we will see what the Patriots have in store for the rest of the NFL. Like I said, I mentioned the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are 4-2, tied with the San Francisco 49ers. And let's talk about the 49ers and the Seahawks a little bit. The 49ers, they have a good team, but they are banged up, and they are banged up beyond belief. And if they can get healthy, I've said it before. I said it last week. I'm going to say it again now. If they can get healthy, they will be a problem. But if they can't get healthy, and if they can't keep Christian McCaffrey healthy, they're going to have problems. So we will see what happens going forward with the San Francisco 49ers. I think they have a good team. Bang, bang, Niner gang. I think they have all the pieces, but they got to stay healthy. And if they don't stay healthy, a team like Seattle, who is healthy, and they got stud receiver. Maybe is Jackson Smith and Jigba the best receiver in the game? I mean, I'm not going to argue against it. If you told me he's the best receiver in the game, I'm definitely not going to argue against it. He is top notch. He's been kicking ass, and well, he plays a major part in Seattle doing good. For some reason, the man is always open. He just stays open, and he's not easy to bring down as well. So, and they got Mike McDonald up there, so you know that Seattle defense is going to be top notch as well. So, between Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles Rams, they're also 4-2, three-way tie in the NFC West. I think the NFC West is probably going to be the toughest division in the league this year. So keep an eye on the NFC West because the Rams, even though Puka Nacua is hurt and might be out for a little bit, the Rams have a decent, I say decent, the Rams have a top-notch offense. Seattle, is looking really good. And we already talked about San Francisco. So with that being said, maybe time to make some quick predictions that are subject to change. But anyway, right now, MVP predictions for now, MVP, I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield. AFC winner right now, shoot. If I had to pick one team to win the AFC, probably hate to hear it. Don't nobody want to hear it. I don't even like saying it. But it's probably going to be the Kansas City Chiefs coming out the AFC. And we all know why. They got the pedigree, they got the coaching, they got the players. And I'm telling you, if they get Rashee Rice back and start putting up 40 points a game, hey, who's going to stop him? Who's going to stop him? NFC winner, I really want to pick the Buccaneers. I really do. And maybe I'll pick the Buccaneers and put an asterisk that they will get healthy in time to make a good run in the playoffs. But that's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at right now with this week 6 NFL State of the Union address. My predictions, MVP, Baker Mayfield, AFC, Kansas City Chiefs, NFC, Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now, and Super Bowl, Kansas City Chiefs. Just feels like another Chiefs year, people. It just feels like another Chiefs year. And I don't know how I feel about that. You know, I like to see teams dominate. You know, as much as I didn't like Tom Brady and New England Patriots, it was fun to watch them just go out and win Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl. And now we have Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs emulating the New England Patriots. And like I said, if this offense starts clicking, it's over, folks. It's over. It'll be a wrap. Season will be over, and we'll all be sitting here saying, damn, look at Patrick Mahomes again. I don't know how I feel about that. But anyways, folks, that is your State of the Union NFL address from Jason's Jewels, Week 7. I will bring you another one around Week 14, and then I will bring you another one again at the end of the year as we roll into the playoffs. Stay tuned for that. I do hope you enjoyed this NFL State of the Union address. Again, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Jason's Jewels channel on YouTube. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Clearly Confused podcast channel on YouTube as well. Dropping jewels for y'all weekly. Every week, you will see jewels and you will see clear confusion, period. So thank y'all for tuning in. I can't thank y'all enough, man. I truly appreciate y'all for watching, all the listeners, all the watchers, everyone out there. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Peace.